During the Second Age, much of the lands which are now Morytania fell under the kingdom of Hallowvale, under the control of the Saradominist Icene. A portion of the lands to the northwest, however, fell under the control of the Zerosian Empire, which was beginning to reach its prime. By the end of the Second Age and start of the Third, the fortress of Caril was constructed on the site that would one day become Canifis. When Zamrak betrayed and murdered Zeros, starting the God Wars in the Third Age, the Zerosian fortress was a prime target for destruction. Though it is unknown which army destroyed the fortress of Caril, it is believed to have been destroyed by the Zamarakian vampire forces of Lord Draken as they invaded and conquered the lands now known as Morytania. Though the lands were once green and fertile, they slowly rotted and transformed into the swamp we know today. It wasn't until the year 1777 of the Fourth Age, when opportunistic settlers, likely from Misthalin, travelled the river south seeking out new lands, that the town of Canifis was constructed. Despite the warnings, the people settled and were soon brought under the dominion of the vampires. It is unknown as to when, but at some point, likely around this time, the citizens of Canifis were transformed into werewolves. The werewolves were always loyal Zamarakian forces during the God Wars, so likely fell under the control of Lord Draken at some point during the early Fourth Age, allowing him to send them into the newly settled Canifis. Prior to Misthalin settlers entering Morytania in the year 1777 of the Fourth Age, a great castle was built northeast of where Canifis now stands. This area was known as the Lordship of the North Coast during the late Fourth Age, and is currently known as Fenkenstrain's Castle. When built, however, it was controlled by a human named Karos. Karos acted as the human advisor to Lord Draken, using the magic of his ring to influence the weak-willed. When Karos tried to bend the will of Lord Draken, he was killed for it, and his castle abandoned. Eventually, the human settlers took over the castle, passing the ring down through generations. When the most recent lord of the castle, Lord Rollogarth, was killed by Fenkenstrain, the ring passed into his hands. Citizenscape is looking to make his way through Morytania, starting first with the town of Canifis. Having killed a resident last time, he'll be looking to repair the rift and work his way into citizenship. He'll need to complete a single quest today, that being the Creature of Fenkenstrain. Citizenscape has a single combat task today, that being a snail in the southern swamp. For our achievements, we'll need to craft a snelm of any type, receive a Slayer task from Mashna, have something tanned for us by the tanner, Spot, and enter the Mort'ton swamp. For skill tasks, we'll need to complete a round of Werewolf Skull Ball, requiring 25 agility. Finally, for our miscellaneous tasks, we'll need to make purchases from Barker's Haberdashery, from Fidelio at the general store, from Rufus's Meat Emporium, while also purchasing a Moonlight Mead from the Hair of the Dog pub. With all that in store for today, let's begin. We're starting today just outside of Canifis with our Wolfbane dagger at the ready. Having killed a resident last time out of fear, we hope to make a better impression. Chatting with the locals, they don't seem to like us, but they're not accusing us of killing a citizen either. They seem more worried about my smell. We can get coins out of the bank and begin to look around town for businesses to support. We make our way to Rufus's Meat Emporium. He sells only raw meat, likely a favourite of the werewolf. We buy a few salmon before heading to Barker's Haberdashery. He sells a number of colourful clothing options, but we like the green cape. Next we head to Spot the tanner. He can tan hides for use in crafting, just like Ellis and Alcarid. One of the options is snakeskin, which we have from our time fixing the village in Tiber One-Eye. Coming back with snakeskin, we tan those, which is one of our achievements here today. Heading to the general store, we buy some thread and a needle, as well as a sample bottle, unusual items from a general store. Though we're not high enough of a level just yet, we can craft the snakeskin in future into ranged armor. We can also make the Broodoo mask we found into a shield. Heading into the taxidermist, we learn that we can have particularly large fish or some monster heads stuffed. We don't have anything that qualifies, but we'll come back if we find something. Heading to the pub, it's a strange atmosphere with a number of odd strangers leering at us and a pickled brain in a jar on the table. We buy a Moonlight Mead from the bartender before drinking it. We approach one stranger near the entrance who reminds us of Count Draenor. He isn't very friendly though. Another man introduces himself as Vanstrom Klaus. He seems more friendly and tells us that he's concerned about his friends. possibly because of all the werewolves and vampires in the region. He doesn't want us to concern ourselves with it, however. Maybe we'll come back one day and see if things have improved. Looking out over the town, it's been hard to fit in. We've supported the local businesses, but the people don't seem to like us because of our human smell. It's going to be difficult to integrate. Perhaps we should take a look around the area. Before we head off, we remember the limestone we mined previously. With a chisel from the bank, we can shape it for use in our home one day. Not too far to the west of town, we find a fence and gate blocking access to the deeper swamp. A man named Ulysses guards the gate nervously and refuses us entry without permission from Drezel. Heading back to the Patadomus temple, we speak with Drezel, who gives us permission. With permission granted, we enter the swamp. We've heard a little of the snails in the swamp, the shells of which can be used to make helmets, while the flesh can be cooked for an expedient meal. Attacked by invisible forces, we eventually find some snails and take one out for our combat task. Returning to the gate, we make our way back to Canifis and craft ourselves a snail helm. Despite our new look, the locals don't go for it. Making a small fire, we cook up the snail and our raw salmon from earlier. We eat the snail to show our dedication to the townsfolk, but again get no recognition. Perhaps the people respect slayers. They do have a slayer master on the outskirts of town. We chat with Mashna, who reminds us of our mammoth task. Unwilling to complete that huge task, we return to Toriel to swap tasks, as Mashna won't. Toriel assigns us cows to kill, directing us back to Lumbridge. In the process of taking out 47 cows, we achieve 35 hit points, 32 strength, and 20 slayer. We've decided to pick up the hides and meat for later use. Cooking the meat gives us level 30 in our cooking skill. Returning to Mashna, we're assigned to kill 52 dogs. Not looking to become a puppy murderer, we ask for some clarification. Mashna says that our best bet is to kill jackals in the desert, southeast of the Shante Pass. Grabbing water skins and dressing for the desert heat, we head out into the sparsely populated desert in search of the jackals. Finding them on the other side of the River Elid, we begin to take them out. We need to return for food and more water as our desert clothes don't provide much armor. While taking out 52 jackals, we find a jackal bone that may be of interest to that odd old man we talked to in Silveria. We also get our strength up to levels 33, 34 and 35, and our slayer to levels 21 and 22. We thought that much of the southern desert was empty, but while killing jackals we spot a settlement in the distance. Citizenscape will remember this. With our task complete, we head back to Canifis, though still without a welcoming reception from the werewolves. We've done about all we can do in Canifis, so head out to the east of town, finding a werewolf in the swamp. We're attacked by a leech while we're here, which drains our stats and skills as we take it down. Talking to the werewolf here, we discover they have an agility course below these ruins, though we're not allowed in. Perhaps we continue to look around the local area instead. We make our way up the hill to the northeast and find a castle. Though it seems largely barren inside, we can see a lone man within. Hello, I'm Citizenscape. Is this your castle?
Why, yes it is. What do you want?
Well, I'm just looking around to find people to help. This is a very big castle for just you. Are you here alone?
Yes, only me left. You must be here for the job.
I must be here for the job? What job is this?
I need a new butler. You must be here to become my butler.
Yes, I came to apply for the butler job.
Excellent. You're hired. I need someone to do grave digging. You must do grave digging.
I must do grave digging.
Fetch me a set of arms and legs, a torso, and a head with a brain for the experiment.
Wait, you want me to dig up body parts from graves?
Yes, you must fetch these for me.
I must fetch these.
Good.
Wait, why did I agree to this? How will I even find body parts?
You're a man of your word, right? There's an island mausoleum not far from here where you can find several graves. You must speak with the gardener ghost for help.
Unsure quite why we agreed to help, we head out to the back garden and try to speak with the ghost. The ghost has no head and doesn't seem responsive to us. Perhaps if we have our ghost speak amulet, it might understand us, even without a head. Retrieving the amulet from the bank, we can speak with the ghost. He tells us that Frankenstrain was the castle doctor until everyone started to disappear. The gardener said he died after he went to dig graves in the forest under the order of Frankenstrain. When he dug the grave, his head was lopped off. The ghost seems to be in good spirits about being dead, and doesn't mind us collecting his head. He follows us out of the castle, but when we come across the graves, they aren't the right ones. He helps us to find his grave within the forest, where we manage to dig up the head before we're attacked by a feral vampire. With the head retrieved, we need a brain. We know that there's a pickled brain in the pub. Asking the bartender, he tells us that he sells them as snacks for 50 coins each. With the money spent and the brain collected, we check that off our list. We go to check out this island mausoleum, but it's inaccessible with the bridge out. Doctor, I have the head and brain, but the bridge is out to the mausoleum. How can I get to it?
There's a tunnel under the graves to the east that leads over to the island.
Wait, how do you know that?
You mustn't ask questions like that.
I mustn't ask questions like that.
Good. The grave can be pushed open with an amulet in 2 parts. I think I left the parts in the books on grave digging and maggot avoidance.
Alright, I'll head upstairs and check the book. Wait, why am I doing this?
Because you must.
I must.
You'll need a key too if you're going to get anywhere down there. A strange experiment in the caves got loose and stole my key. You must kill it to retrieve the key.
I must kill the experiment to get the key. With the task at hand, we head upstairs, finding both halves of the amulet. With the parts combined, we can place it in a slot in the nearby eastern graves and push the monument to enter the tunnels below the castle. We feel compelled to attack and kill a strange experiment down here to get a key, which allows us entry past the doorway on the other side. Exiting the caves on the mausoleum island, we dig up the torso, arms, and legs. Okay, I have all the body parts you needed.
Excellent. But I'll need something to stitch them all together. Get me a needle and 5 spools of thread, butler. You must do as I say.
Yes, I must. With the needle and thread we purchased from the general store earlier, we return to Dr. Frankenstein.
Good. I can stitch the body together now.
So, am I free to go?
Haha, free? No, there is more. I need the spark of life, too. Go repair the lightning rod atop the tower before the storm arrives.
But what would I know about repairing lightning rods?
You must do this for me. Go speak with the gardener again.
Compelled to do so, we speak with the gardener, who suggests that we find the mold that they used to use for the lightning rods. Curious, we ask further to find out that a handyman used to live in the castle that fixed the lightning rod with the mold and silver. He used to sweep the chimneys too, until he died. The gardener ghost presumes that the mold may be up in a chimney. He gives us the key to the shed, which allows us to get the brush head. We need to extend the brush if we're going to clear out the chimneys, so grab a few handle extensions and some wire from the bank to attach them together. Brushing all the chimneys in the castle, we eventually find one with a mold stuck in it. With the mold and a silver bar from the bank, we teleport to Lumbridge and use the furnace to make the lightning rod. Trekking back to the castle, we attach the lightning rod just in time for the storm. A bolt of lightning is shot out.
It's alive!
With our job complete, we return to Frankenstein.
Oh good, you're still alive. The creature went mad and attacked me. I managed to lock it in the tower. You need to dispose of it for me.
Are you okay? Did it harm you?
Just take this key and get rid of it.
Feeling less compelled and unsure about the situation, we make our way up the tower and spot the creature we helped to create. It doesn't seem violent, however, just confused. Hi, is everything alright? I was commanded to kill you, but you look, well, perplexed.
I was dead, but now I live. How can this be?
Well, we brought you to life. Your brain was the one we used to give the body thought.
Why? Why have you done this?
I'm not so sure. It's as if I was compelled to do it beyond my control.
It was Fengthan's strain, wasn't it? He made you do it.
How did you know?
I was Lord Rolagarth, Lord of the North Coast. This is my family's castle. He stole a ring from me, a family heirloom. It has great influence over the living.
So that's how he made me do all those things.
Indeed. The ring allowed my family to live near to the werewolves of Canifis. It disguises your scent so they think you're one of them.
Interesting.
If you were to remove it from Fengthan's strain's pockets, he would be vulnerable and his gruesome experimentation would come to an end. Please, you must do this before he kills more people.
Yes, you're right. Heading back downstairs, we take the ring from Frankenstein's pockets, leaving him vulnerable to the werewolves and breaking his influence over people. The Ring of Chaos helps us to integrate with the werewolves of Canifis. When we talk to the townsfolk, they're friendly towards us now. They must really just not like the smell of humans. With the ring, we can enter the tunnel in the swamp to the werewolf agility course. They have a fun game where you kick a skull around a track, specifically through goalposts. The power of the Ring of Kairos could easily be misused, but we're not looking to take over anyone's mind, just remove our human smell and become one of the werewolves. Kicking the ball around the track takes time and we're not very good at it. We do however earn level 26 agility from our first go around. Giving it another shot, we don't improve all that much, though we do get level 27 agility. We'll have to come back one day and do better. With the werewolves friendly towards us and our goals here today achieved, we're set to explore more of Morytania. We've heard of other settlements further south of the swamp such as mort'ton. We're going to brave our way through the swamp and find mort'ton. Please join me next time in mort'ton. A special thank you to our guest voice of today, CCNeverender. If you'd like a chance to voice a character in the series, subscribe and join the Discord. Links in the description below.